Welcome back to the Kosi Arsenal podcast. My name is Kosi. Welcome back to a brand new video. Martinelli is injured. Arsenal out of the Carabao Cup, and of course we're out of the FA Cup already as well. It looks like chances for silverware are becoming slim and slim and slim and slim. By the way, that was one of the worst performances I've seen from this Arsenal team in a while. It was really, really dreadful to the extent that I didn't watch the whole game. I fell asleep. It was really, really bad. Like, if you are supporting Newcastle yesterday, that was one of the best performances you wanted. After beating Manchester City 5, Arsenal come and put up a no-show. All players were absolutely catastrophically dead in that game. And I can't explain how you go from such a wonderful performance from Man City to such a dead performance against Newcastle. And it begs the question, did we beat Manchester City 5 because they were too bad, or were we actually good? I mean, that performance against Newcastle suggests that we were actually poor too, but Manchester City were just very, very bad. So let's talk about the performance. Let's talk about Mikel Arteta's lack of intelligence when it comes to managing cup competitions, because he just can't get us over the line, in any situation of, whenever we are going for silverware. It doesn't look like this manager is ready and knows what to do in those situations. We are talking about the FA Cup. Ever since Mikel Arteta won the FA Cup, he had found us at the quarterfinals in 2020. Has he ever really won an FA Cup game? Like Mikel, has he ever won an FA Cup game? He has never. Then we've got to talk about the Carabao Cup. You've got to talk about the Premier League. There have been so many instances where Mikel has come so close and then he just capitulates. He just can't get over the line. Now, is it the squad? Is it the nature of the squad? You could say so. But even last season, when our squad was in form and we had every player fit, we found a way of not winning rather than winning. So it begs the question. We've got to look into the manager's ability to manage and win. And then we've got to talk about the January transfer window once again. Like Gabriel Martinelli picking up an injury 2 days after you failed and refused to buy in someone. It just says January is here to bite us in the back. The mistakes that we committed are here to bite us back. And there's nothing we've got to do. We've got to face reality. So the general performance for me in that game doesn't need any whistle blowing. Worst performance from a team that needed to overturn a result. Worst performance, really worst performance. I mean, you can't believe that earlier on in the game, it was about 9 minutes, Alexander Isak, I think it was 5 minutes, Alexander Isak had already found the back of the net, and Arsenal was saved by VAR, by the offside trap, right? So 5 minutes in, Newcastle have already got a goal. And Newcastle are not the team that are looking to overturn a 2-0 deficit. They're the team that are looking for a draw. They came in this game well knowing that losing 2-1, losing 1-0, losing 3-2, losing by a margin of 1 guarantees them qualification. A draw guarantees them qualification. But what did they do? They come in this game with a lot of energy. They come in this game with a lot of enthusiasm, with a lot of passion. And you could say it, Gordon, Alexander Isak, Murphy, their front three was devilishly good. Really, really good. Like, Isak is a problem. Isak is a really big problem. I know Arsenal might not be able to afford 120, 150 million, but if we could afford a player this summer, it should have been Alexander Isak. And not because he's a prolific goal scorer, because he didn't score yesterday, but he made Saliba and Gabriel look as average as Mustafi and Sebastian Squillaci. That is what I was watching yesterday. I was watching Mustafi and Sebastian Squillaci, right? And Senderos at the back. I wasn't watching William Saliba and Gabriel. So I think the lack of ambition that we displayed yesterday is unbelievable. We went in that game knowing that this is our golden ticket to silverware, and you beat Newcastle and you make it to the final. What did we do? We got in that game lazy, slow, sloppy. You can name all the buzzwords that you want. It was a very bad performance, really bad performance. And it was a bad performance to the extent that the whole Arsenal 11, no one gets excused for me. I mean, I've had a few people saying there was this, there's nothing. When you play Newcastle across 2 legs, that is 180 minutes, and you concede 2 goals to nil, on both occasions, that's on aggregate, you've lost 4-0, and the manager starts saying, the ball is flying, the Carabao Cup ball is flying. What kind of nonsense was he even saying? That already tells you that there is no one to be excused. There are no excuses for anyone. The performance was a disaster. Credit to Newcastle, I'm not going to take it away from them. Yes, Arsenal were really poor, sloppy. We couldn't get hold of the ball. Maybe Mikel is right. Maybe the ball is flying to his players, but not to Newcastle, because Gordon scored, because Murphy scored, because Alexander Isak scored yesterday. I'm talking about goals. The difference is that they're not goals for Arsenal; they're goals for Newcastle. So why I want to give Newcastle their flowers is that they came in this game not for a draw. They did come in this game to sit back and lose 2-1 or protect their lead. They came to this game to show Arsenal, you are not going to win this game and you're not going to win against us today. And I think the game plan for Mikel was to come and dominate in Newcastle, that he thought was going to sit back and wait for us to take the game to them. The game plan for Eddie Howe was different. It was like, listen, go and press them, right? Whenever they're trying to play out from the back, go and press them. That is the worst I've seen from Thomas Partey, trying to, progress the ball. He couldn't, right? And at times, it's not about how bad the players are. It's about how good the team that is trying to stop you from playing out from the back is. And I've said this for Atalanta, and I said they're a beast of a team when it comes to playing out from the back and stopping you. When it comes to pressing and stopping you from playing out from the back, they're actually a beast of a team. But Newcastle did it very well yesterday. Magnificent performance. But this goes down to 2 things. One, what happened in January? What were we doing in January? Now, Mikel Arteta, obviously, in his press conference, he came out and said, I'm very disappointed. We were asking for a striker. We were looking for a forward. We didn't get one. And that was actually very disappointing. Okay, I mean, if you're the manager and you've asked for these players and you didn't get them, it's understandable that you're going to be disappointed. So the question is, what happened? Because I remember in January, we were saying, Saka and Jesus' injuries have put us in a very precarious situation that we are 1 injury away from a crisis. And now this is a crisis because Gabriel Martinelli is injured. So Martinelli is out, Saka is out, Gabriel Jesus is out, Havertz is off form, Trossard is off form, Raheem Sterling is off form. Do we have forward players? Do we have a forward line? Like if they said, can you get me 1 player that is guaranteed to give me results on that Arsenal forward line? It is Ethan Nwaneri, only Ethan Nwaneri, 18 years of age. But this is, compulsive neglection of problems. In the summer, we had the same issues. And in the summer, we failed to get a winger, we failed to get a striker. And quickly, as soon as the season began, injuries struck. And we all said, listen, it is bad. It was a mistake. We must correct this in January. January comes, and then we're looking sideways. And we're giving excuses that there are no players that can improve this team in January. Like if there are players that can improve Man City in January, then Arsenal, don't say your crap, don't say your garbage, your team. There is this kind of entitlement that this team and management have got, that we've become so good. We are good. We're not so good. Like I can mention 5 players that were traded in January that could help Arsenal right now with Martinelli, Saka, and Jesus injured. Marcus Rashford is one of them. I don't like him. I didn't like the signing. But I tell you, Rashford improves us right now. Omar Mamouche improves us right now. Nico Gonzalez improves us right now. Kavicha Kvaratskhelia improves us right now. John Duran improves us right now. Those are 5 players I could go on. Matistel improves us right now. Imagine if Martinelli picks up an injury and we had got Matistel. You know how that would come in handy? And we did it. That is number one. So the January transfer window and its bad results have already started showing. And I wonder how Arsenal are the laziest and worst team in the transfer window. Yet we are the same team that is filled with injury-prone players. Like Zinchenko, injury-prone. Partey, injury-prone. Jesus, injury-prone. Gabriel Martinelli, injury-prone. We have so many injury-prone players, but for some reason, we are the team that doesn't really want to have a squad. Because when you have injury-prone players, you've got to have extra width in your squad to deal with those injuries. I don't think we are particularly good at that. So many people will say, Kosi, you've been negative. Kosi, you've been negative. It's now on paper. It's now on paper, right? We can see it now. From paper to action, this Arsenal team needed a minimum of 2 signings in January, and we got none. Now, the second thing we've got to talk about is Arteta's history and record in cup competitions. Is Mikel Arteta a winner? Or is he a good manager that is good at keeping teams like David Moyes? There is a difference here. You could be a Jose Mourinho. You could be a Pep Guardiola. Good managers, but they are winners. Carlo Ancelotti, right? Stuff. Then you could be a David Moyes. A David Moyes doesn't win you much, but he will guarantee you a certain level of success. For example, if you're Everton, David Moyes will make you hang around 6 and 10 for 10 seasons. And that's the best, because that's the best he can do, right? So are we dealing with Mikel Arteta as a winner, like as a manager? Or are we dealing with him as an average result manager? This is why I'm concerned. Mikel Arteta has fumbled every chance he's got to win silverware. He has fumbled every chance to win silverware. And I want you to ask yourself, how many times have we made excuses for Mikel Arteta's teams for dropping out of a cup competition or for not winning the league? How many times? The first time we failed to win the league, that was 22-23. We said, oh, this team is young. They don't have experience. Oh, the manager is also young. He doesn't have experience. And also injuries to Saliba and this and that. And Arsenal needs some good investment to come around. We said, all right, that's okay. The second season, Arsenal came back stronger. We had signed Declan Rice, 100 million. We had done Julian Timber. Yes, he didn't play that season, but that was a very good signing. And we had done a couple of signings. I think Havertz also came in that season. So we capitulate again and we make an excuse for Mikel Arteta. He doesn't have a striker. He doesn't have a striker. If he has a striker, he wins the league. So, and it goes on and on. Mikel Arteta's FA Cup runs always end at the 4th or 3rd round. Always there. Ever since he won the title, he doesn't go beyond. He doesn't reach the quarterfinals of the FA Cup in his 5 years at Arsenal. And then the Carabao Cup. He played until the semi-finals. He was outdone. Absolutely annihilated. 4-0 on aggregate by Newcastle. So, is it the team? Is it The squad is not yet ready to win. Is it the manager? We've got to talk about this stuff. We've got to talk about this stuff. And I want to leave it there because we will expand more on it, right? We'll expand more on it. I really want to look at the psychology of winning because there seems to be a mind block when it comes to this Arsenal team. That we can play well and play well and play well and play well, but when it comes to significant stuff, we always have a setback. So I want to look into maybe one or two chapters on the psychology of winning and why you could do so well building up a project, but when it comes to winning, you fumble it, and then probably I relate that psychology to Mikel Arteta's series of failures. If it works out, then I'm definitely going to share. But disappointing that we're out of the cup. Vulgar performance from Arsenal. But Martinelli's story also says it all. Buy someone in January. No, now Martinelli's injured too. Looks like that's where we are now.